Biography in quotes. Steve Jobs. Pioneer or founder of Apple Compute. Biography. Steve Jobs. Pioneer or founder of Apple Computer. Steve Jobs. If anyone wants to find out about the success of Apple as the largest company in the world, then you must first know who the person behind the company is. He was Steve Jobs, the most famous figure behind the stand and success of the Apple company. He is known as a pioneer or founder of Apple Computer. Steve Jobs bio. Name, Steve Paul Jobs. Place, date of birth, California, February 24, 1955. Death, California, America, October 5, 2011. Parents, Abdul Fattah Jandali, father, Joanne Simpson's Cable, mother, wife, Loren Powell Jobs. Son, Lisa Bren. Biography of Steve Jobs. Stephen Paul Jobs was born on February 24, 1955 in California, United States. Steve Jobs had a father named Abdul Fattah Jandali who was a visiting student from Syria who later became a professor of political science. Then Joanne Simpson's mother. Childhood history. Since the baby Steve Jobs has been adopted by Paul and Clara Jobs who live in Santa Clara County, California. This adoptive parents who gave the name of Steve Jobs to him. His biological parents later married and gave him a younger sister named Mona Simpson who is now famous as a novelist. Steve Jobs went through junior and senior high school in Cupertino, California. It is known that he often taught after-school hours at the Hewlett-Packard Company in Palo Alto, California. So it's not surprising that he and Steve Wozniak soon became part-time workers at the company. In 1972, Jobs graduated from Homestead High School in Cupertino, California, and he was accepted at Reed College in Portland, Oregon. But he was expelled or dropped out after one semester. But he immediately enrolled in Reed College, one of the things learned here on calligraphy. In the fall of 1974, Steve Jobs returned to California and began attending the Homebrew Computer Club meeting with Steve Wozniak. Steve Jobs and Wozniak worked at Atari Incorporated, which is a well-known computer game maker company, with a position as a game designer. His motivation at that time was to raise money for a spiritual journey to India. Steve Jobs then made a spiritual enlightenment trip to India with his friend at Reed College, Daniel Kotke, who later became Apple's first employee. After returning from India, he became a Buddhist with shaved or bald hair and wore traditional Indian clothing, monk. During this time he only practiced psychedelics like meditation, when Jobs was often considered strange, because he walked barefoot on snow. This was a kind of mindfulness meditation. These are the 2 or 3 most important things in life that he has ever done in his life. Founded Apple Computer. In 1976, Steve Jobs, then 21, and Steve Wozniak at the age of 26, founded Apple Computer Company in a garage owned by the Jobs family. The personal computer introduced by Jobs and Wozniak was given the name Apple I. The computer was sold for US $666.66, as a reference to the telephone numbers of Wozniak's dial-a-joke machine, which ended with -6666. In 1977, Jobs and Wozniak introduced the Apple II, which became a huge success in the household market and also gave Apple a big influence on the young personal computer industry. Apple Computer logo. In 1980, Apple Computer listed its name on the stock exchange, as well as with a successful initial stock offering, thanks to which Jobs' fame grew. That same year, Apple Computer released the Apple III, even when its success wasn't as good as before. As Apple Computer developed, the company began looking for new leadership to help and manage the development of the company. In 1983, Jobs hooked John Sculley, from the Pepsi-Cola Company, to lead Apple Computer, with a challenge. Do you want to sell carbon drinks for the rest of your life, or will you change the world? Do you want to just sell sugared water for the rest of your life, or do you want to change the world? In that same year, Apple released the Apple Lisa, whose technology was classified as very advanced at the time but failed to reach buyers and market share. In 1984 became the year of introduction of the Macintosh, which was the first computer to be successfully sold to the market by presenting a graphical user interface. Mac development that was sparked by Jeff Raskin, and also the team uses technology that was developed not by Apple, but is in Xerox's PARC, Mac development that was sparked by Jeff Raskin, and also the team uses technology that was developed not by Apple, but is in Xerox's PARC. But before it could be commercialized, the success of the Macintosh led Apple to abandon the Apple II for the sake of developing Mac production, which has survived to this day. Steve Jobs quit Apple Computer. Although Jobs is fairly persuasive and also charismatic for Apple, many assume that he is a leader who is easy to change his mind and also has a high emotion. In 1985, after causing many problems in leadership within Apple, Scully finally decided to dismiss Steve Jobs from his post and expel him from Apple. Return to Apple Company. In 1996, Apple bought Next for US $402 million, and brought Steve Jobs back to the company he founded. In 1997 he became a temporary leader at Apple after the departure of Gil Amelio. With the purchase of Next, many technologies from Next were applied to Apple products, especially Next Step, which developed into Mac OS X. Under the guidance of Steve Jobs, the company succeeded in increasing its sales after introducing the iMac. The iMac is the first computer to be sold with priority to its appearance, although the iMac also uses many advanced technologies in it. Since then, attractive looks and well-known brands have provided huge profits for Apple, the figure of the success of Apple Company. Steve Jobs worked at Apple for several years with a salary of US $1 per year. Therefore he was listed in the book Guinness World Records as the leader of the company with the lowest salary or lowest paid chief executive officer. After Apple began to regain its sales profit, the company released its title as caretaker leader. At present his income at Apple is around US $219 million, according to research an article written on the Bloomberg website in 2003. Steve Jobs is highly admired for his expertise in convincing people and becoming a superior salesman. Founded Pixar Studio. In 1986 Steve Jobs and Edwin Catmull founded Pixar, which is a computer animation studio in Emeryville, California. The company was founded from what was once Lucasfilm's computer graphics division, which Steve Jobs bought from its founder, George Lucas, for US $10 million. A decade later, Pixar developed into fame and success with its breakthrough film Toy Story. Since that time Pixar has produced films that have won Academy Awards, namely Finding Nemo and The Incredibles. Because of his leadership at Pixar and his establishment at Apple, Jobs is considered by many entertainment industry observers to be one of Michael Eisner's successors as a leader of the Walt Disney Company, which distributes and also funds Pixar films. On August 25, 2011, Apple Incorporated's founder and president, CEO, Steve and Paul Jobs finally officially decided to resign. But he is still remembered by the world community because of his works. Since 1976 he has issued Apple's L. His work continued to grow until finally in 2010 he issued an iPad which had caused a stir in the world. Steve Jobs died. Steve Jobs died at the age of 56 years. After battling pancreatic cancer that has gnawed at his body for the past few years. The news of Steve Jobs died was announced by the leadership of Apple on Wednesday night, October 5, 2011. The Silicon Valley icon is remembered for his services in entertaining the world with the iPhone, iPod and finally the iPad. Steve Jobs himself is known as a legend at Apple and can even be regarded as the most innovative technology maestro of this century. Quotes: Steve Jobs, pioneer or founder of Apple Computer. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. For the past 33 years, I have looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle, don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. I've always been attracted to the more revolutionary changes. I don't know why. Because they're harder. They're much more stressful emotionally. And you usually go through a period where everybody tells you that you've completely failed. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. Getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. It's really hard to design products by focus groups. A lot of times, people don't know what they want until you show it to them. I'm as proud of many of the things we haven't done as the things we have done. Innovation is saying no to 1,000 things. Quality is more important than quantity. One home run is much better than 2 doubles. Be a yardstick of quality. Some people aren't used to an environment where excellence is expected. My model for business is the Beatles. They were 4 guys that kept each other's negative tendencies in check. They balanced each other. And the total was greater than the sum of the parts. Sometimes when you innovate, you make mistakes. It is best to admit them quickly and get on with improving your other innovations.